Kia ora.
Kia ora. We're now going to welcome Hilda Halkyard Harawira, who's providing a personal submission.
Hi, kia ora.
Kia ora, welcome.
Tēnā koe.
We're in your hands for 5 minutes.
Okay, kia ora. Right. Up here Te Tai Tokerau, when you wear sunglasses, it's because you're either going to go to sleep in a hui, or because the person that you're talking to you is telling a whole lot of lies.
Oh,
So, I'd like to wear I'm not saying that that's you personally. I'm just saying when you see people in Tai Tokerau, they either think you're real upstanding or full of it. Anyhow, this proposed real sinister bill, RSB, I liken it because I don't want to, I've submitted my submission and I don't really want to say what I've already said in there and a few others. It's a flatliner in a hospital emergency room. It's a bland nothingness, which kind of mirrors the absence of humanity of its designer in a way. And I call it a real shite bill because it lacks good, fair governance principles. I don't see anything in that framework that talks about good health, education, well-being outcomes, nor respect for all members of the community. There's more respect for the individual, the money makers, and I kind of think it's a backward step in the development of Aotearoa as a potentially leading Pacific nation. So anyhow, about this, I call it the real kaka bill. It's a whitewash. It promotes historical amnesia of the terrible past colonial behaviour, which we thought after 185 years we were putting behind us as a distant memory, but it's like a bad dream coming back to haunt you. This bill does not protect nor recognise the constitutional mana of he whakaputanga me te treaty or Waitangi, and will effectively, this kaka bill will rewind all the long fought Māori gains made in yesteryear, such as our treaty settlements and many other gains that we've made as many hapuiwi and Māori. I do worry that this bill will deny, in its blandness, will deny proactive kaupapa Māori initiatives and affirmative action programs, which ensures we have more doctors, more dentists, more engineers, etc., and successful education in the field of kaupapa Māori, kura kaupapa Māori. This bill kind of reverses all the hard work done by, our tupuna, both Māori and Pākehā and Pacifica and Asia, who worked really hard over the last many 50 years to build a solid and meaningful bicultural nation of Aotearoa. And what I really dislike about this bill, it kind of uplifts personal liberties and economic and property rights over collective rights. So like if I liken it to your street floods, would you expect your neighbours or your rescuers to help out everybody in the street, or just the shopkeeper or the vape store owner? Because that's kind of where this RSB thing goes. And I when I say I still hold the government responsible for good governance, if you don't believe me, then you should. If you need white affirmation of what is good governance, then maybe the government, you politicians, could look at some of the principles laid out by your own Auditor General. So, horikau he tino kōrero atu I tērā. I just wanted to make that known. I find all these submissions kind of tedious, so I do appreciate that I got 5 minutes, and I'll leave it at that. Kia ora.
Kia ora, and thank you for your submission. Your position is very clear, and some nice shades you got there too. All right.
Bye.
No, that just feels so. I've never seen Hilda before, but that feels so much. It's something I'd expect from Hana Harawira's other half.
Yeah, she's pretty active herself. He gets the headlines, but she's been very active over the years.
Going back right to the 80s, I just recently watched a documentary film, Patu, which was about the what was it, Springbok tour, all that stuff. They were featured in that even back then, just sitting there in their home, very young, like about their 30s, I think, probably. So, oh, sorry, I didn't have much more to say on that.
Yeah.
Everyone go watch Patu. It's a good documentary.
When did that come out?
Late 80s, I think.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that now.
Yeah, that's somewhere
I
here.
remember the original.
Yeah, I think so too. Was that directed by Mede,
83.
what's her name? Mede
Yeah,
Māori film?
Mirata Mita,
Mirata Mita.
who was pretty much harassed, her and her family after having made that documentary, as I believe. She was, became
It's
a
funny
big
because when you're
documentary.
17 and you're at Auckland University, which was in 1981, you were in Patu. It's gone, and it's very. I've lived quite a quiet life compared to most of the people who I remember being in there and who are still standing and advocating or talking or getting behind the young people to make sure that they've actually got good guidance. When you have a leader sort of suggesting that there should be civil unrest at the level that they can declare war, they are talking about, in my opinion, young people predominantly. That can be anger making to the extent that that invitation, could look attractive, and we do need the people who were there in 1981 to continue to be there and provide not directness and honesty and straight upness, but confidence in their engagement because of long-standing experience with it, but also a few better tactics maybe and strategic possibilities for how to engage, so that we don't end up with what is my worst nightmare, which is young people, particularly our Kura graduates, who are absolute treasures for the generation of Māori who are, by the way, New Zealand's best asset for overcoming an ageing population. And all of the people who vote for, who are in an age group who lead racist dialogue on Facebook, for example, they're inevitably over 60s. A lot of them were not born in New Zealand, but a lot of them were. That generation actually is going to depend on young Māori for a lot of the outcomes that it hopes to live long enough to have, even with their wealth hoarding, and that's really important as well. So anyway, that's just me proselytizing now that we still have a role because we're not dead yet. The people who were there.
Well, I mean, put it this way: between the last two census, the Māori population has gone up by was it 3% of the total? It's increased from 17 to 20% of the total population.
And what Seymour is doing is, and this is the most remarkable thing about, when we first set up this Facebook group, it was really just because I attended a workshop with Tina Ngata and Tanya Waikato, and that was just about, all that was saying, hey, let's just train some people to go out there and do workshops. And it became clear when 600 people joined that video chat that we needed some kind of platform, because there were all these questions coming in, and they also had documentation that would help people. So it was like, well, the best idea is to have a group. Then people can talk, you can post stuff, you can put things in the files tab. It's a great way to bring people together. And what was amazing and remarkable was just the amount of people who they had no concept of the way Parliament works. And you can see why. For many Māori, they've just gone, this is a Pākehā institution, it doesn't serve us, let's just not get involved. And so many people we were teaching just basically the fundamentals of this is how government works, this is how you have your voice heard. So we can actually think, I'm being relentlessly positive again. We've got David Seymour to thank for actually educating a whole bunch of New Zealanders now to actually become a lot more political and know how to write their own submissions in the future. So that's been really exciting to watch.
Like, I'll be honest, this government has made the Order Paper podcast, like, it just keeps creating the situation of spewing out content.
Is it the goose that lays a golden egg, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, like, you remember when we were, like, talking about this after Local Bodies 2022, it was like how to keep the momentum going, and it didn't line up until after the general election, but, like, this has been, like, the government has just been, like, the gift of gold of what's been happening. Because, like, one of the things that I got frustrated with was the fact that the conspiracy theorists were pointing out, look, they've just passed this bill and there was no MPs in the House. It's like, but they couldn't pass the bill. One of them was the abortion reform bill. And, like, you show them the paperwork to show that it was given royal assent 2 weeks before the April 2020 lockdowns. And they were like, oh, yeah, you faked that. It's like they're doing that, like they delve and layer on the conspiracy theory, but that's because they were so hung up on it happened during the during the stream, during it. They did not actually sit there and realize that this happened beforehand, but they wanted to believe all sorts. And so the aim of here was actually like dissecting like what's actually happened throughout Parliament, rather than sitting down there and just like relying on people, because sound bites from the media, you hear hardly anything.
Did you hear Hilda's focus on good governance?
Yes.
Coming out of the north, where they are long-standing relationships, no doubt, with the leadership of New Zealand First. I guess in terms of the coalition that David Seymour has afforded us to build, which is excellent in my opinion, I'd be concerned to watch any of the political parties and their moves now, because they may not perceive that as likely to be positive for what they want to see themselves return to power, and it'll be elegant if we all manage to hold in the face of, say, policies or approaches that split or attempt to split some of that shared support from the whole of it. So I think the whole issue about Māori and race is built a false constituency of there being a group called white that hangs together as white, but it's also a renowned political method of obscuring what else happens, but of encouraging people who would otherwise not vote for the policies of a particular political set of ideas, if they thought about their own interests, but are attracted by this idea that they are somehow not brown or not black and pitched in that way. And I don't know that I have a clear danger that I'm signalling, but politics is a game, and it's not a pleasant one, according to lots of people who've been involved in it. And so it'd be very interesting, and it's something that I want to see anyway, is that we continue to thank David Seymour and soon up on the legislative books, the review of treaty principles in New Zealand First, for continuing to make our shared and common ground, known to us and something that we talk about all the time.
And if you are on the left, you would actually kind of hope there would be a rolling wall of these that would go right up to the next election, because it is getting people politically active. If you are a strategist, the last thing you want is to squander that. So, and right now, that could possibly happen if they were to stop right now, wait a year. People just might, we've got very short memories in this country. We really do. But they are so hell-bent on pushing back the rights of Māori, as they have shown to be so far, that actually might lead to quite a perverse outcome.
Can I finish with something? Which is about someone I very much miss in this debate, which is Moana Jackson. And one of the things which we could maybe squeeze, David, even a win out of that, if that occurs, is that Moana, he was incredibly elegant, and I'm not going to be anywhere near as elegant as he was, but he basically said, beware of becoming too obsessed with kawanatanga, lest we forget that the purpose of the treaty also included the rangatiratanga, which is about, you can call it all sorts of things, but in the context that I'm broadening it to, is also about local capability and local action and dealing with our own stuff in ways that empowers everybody and families. And, it's one of the things which it was about my only treaty comment in my own submission, because everyone else had it. for us on our behalves, but was really that we don't need to be, well, we don't get time. The partnership obligation of the Crown is to foster the conditions that enable the strengthening and growth and life of rangatiratanga. And that isn't, despite what we said about coming together with a common cause, that isn't sustained by being constantly engaged in ka whawhai tonu mātou with egregious law.
Yeah. Oh, we will have to have a bit of a fun part of changing over. Detective Rogers, are you wanting to continue on with Laura chairing the show?
I mean, I am waiting for my co-host to reach out to me when they're ready, so we can record something. But until then, I'm pretty available, so I can stick around.
And you've done your dash, David?
I have a very, very limited ability to focus, but I could do a little bit more. It depends. Have you got anyone waiting in the wings, Sam?
Oh, I've got another person waiting in the wings, and you'll have a new chairperson for the show. No,
what I could do, I might message you later. What I might better do is come back later if that's cool.
Sweet.
I've got some issues sorted out at the moment.
Hana, thanks for joining us the last 2 hours.
And lovely to meet you guys. I didn't actually get to meet you both properly, and I spoke a lot, so sorry, Mr. Rogers, but it was really nice to meet you all.
No. You probably have more expertise than I do, so.
Yeah.
Thank you for your stewardship of the group, by the way, because it did winkle me out of my retirement.
Wow.
And I really appreciated that, Sam, the opportunity for this conversation.
No problem. It's been very constructive.
It was a really nice way to spend an afternoon. Thank you very much.
All good. Okay, so I'm going to take a bit of a break here. You're going to have Laura going to be sitting there at the controls for the next 2 hours. So let's sit there and join up for the next part of the show.